Yeah, it's also something interesting that toward the end of this tournament we haven't really seen a lot of ancient pools, whereas early
Yeah.
on in the tournament it was like felt like every game someone's pulling ancients.
The Tusk has become auto ban, which is I think a big reason why. And there was one game I was casting with base skip, and there was a Clockwork on one side, Prophet on the other, and both those two heroes, FY was playing support Prophet, and I think it was Demons playing support Clockwork, and they were both doing ancient pulls, and FY could not get it to save his life. He missed it like 2 or 3 times in a row before he finally succeeded at it. So it doesn't seem like the players have maybe had the time they need to practice with some of those little tricks. The Tusk one a bit easier to execute, perhaps.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was hoping you were going to say that they both pulled ancients at the same time and the two mid heroes just kind of stood and looked at each other.
That would have been actually hilarious, which I guess is what they were trying to do. Like the first wave meets, you can't ancient pull the first creep wave, but after that, you could theoretically just like ancient pull for days. So that would have been some.
The true match of skill in the mid lane. No creeps, 1v1.
That's perhaps where Dota's going. Just remove creeps from the game and have heroes fight heroes, and until they get strong enough to actually break down towers. And then if you really want, just get rid of the towers. Make it just throne only. 5 heroes on each side and a throne, and they just run at each other and try bypass everything.
I'm sure there's got to already be like a custom reborn game that has that concept. Everyone just goes and brawls in the middle. There's one like that.
That's called overthrow, I guess you could
Yeah, that's
say.
the one.
Yeah. But AA picked up by CDEC.Y, so Bane AA going to be their support duo. Very strong lanes, at least for now. I thought I was saying that last game when they had the Oracle with the Disruptor, and then the Slut kind of made that not so much the case. But this is something where I think CDEC.Y want to secure their safe lane a bit better with these picks here. It was a Undying aggro tri lane last game, so something that could potentially come out again if EHOME felt like they want to pressure the lanes.
I'm not too sure. It's actually difficult to get a read on where the draft wants to go here because the draft dynamic is actually quite substantially different to the previous game and to what we've seen from certainly what we've seen from CDEC Youth in general. When I saw the AA pick, I thought maybe they're trying to block the Undying plus Timbersaw thing, which EHOME have been doing so much. And I mean, Timbersaw could still be picked. Old Chicken, the one who plays it, and it is a little bit weaker than Undying and Timber together against the AA's Ice Blast, but there's a lot of routes they could actually take here, especially with the Clockwork. Maybe they just want a more conventional, and as I say, they're going to get a more conventional right-clicking here. They actually pick up the Batrider, which you'd expect to be... Actually, you'd expect that to be 11's hero, wouldn't you?
11's been the one who's played most of their Batrider, but with the Clockwork there, it's suddenly like, okay, is Bat going mid with Clockwork offlane, or is Bat offlaning with the Clockwork support? It's a lot harder to read what EHOME are doing because of the nature of the support Clockwork being able to do the ancient pulls.
I mean, I would instinctively guess it's Bat mid and Clock offlane, and it's actually a setup similar to, even though the heroes are different, that draft they've been doing all the time with the Undying, Earth Spirit, Earthshaker, Timbersaw, and then CTY's got the one like huge damage output hero. It's similar here. CTY's Gyrocopter, and even though the heroes are different, Clock and Bats and Undying already heroes that control the fight but are difficult to kill.
Yeah.
And they just like kind of charge at you, you have to deal with them, and meanwhile CTY deals all the damage.
Puck pickup for CDEC Youth Squad. We'll see where this is headed, possibly suggesting Razor will not be in the middle lane, with the puck maybe more oriented towards the mid. Razor could pair up with Bane and AA if they wanted to go aggressive with this one. They've got 3 very strong ranged heroes with Chilling Touch, and as good as Gyro can be in certain tri-lanes, he doesn't do well against 3 ranged heroes such as this one. I feel like a Gyrocopter lane could struggle against that, and it would come down to the Undying as a support to be able to contest that lane.
Yeah, and we saw how significant it was in the previous game that EHOME were the team able to run the aggressive tri-lane and just constantly put pressure on the Slark. So if CDEC Youth are able to do the same thing to CTY's Gyrocopter, it could be very shaping of how the early game pans out.
They banned Visage too, so if anything, that to me suggests that they likely are considering something like an offensive tri-lane, and they don't want to see like a Visage Undying plus Gyrocopter. We'll have to wait and see. As for CDEC Youth, if that is the plan, they do need a hero that can 1v1 the Clockwork, which there's plenty of. And Clockwork not necessarily a lane dominated by any means.
Ember Spirit.
Ember?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Visage ban... Yeah, I was going to say, the Visage ban also suggested they thought it was a support and a mid-bat, but clearly wrong. I mean, this is not going to be the surprise new support Ember Spirits, I don't think.
we're looking at the support Clockwork, so that, if anything, maybe pushes CDEC Youth to try and contest the lanes even harder, since it is a bit more of a greedy way of playing things. It kind of helps out your mid lane, but as far as your safe lane Gyrocopter goes, his lane suddenly gets a lot more vulnerable. CDEC Youth, last pick coming up. Life Stealer. Okay.
We saw a pretty clowny game early on in the tournament.
That was these two teams, actually. It was the off-lane life. I believe it was June playing it then? Against
I think that was actually the one game that EHOME won. I think they had Lifestealer and PL together in that game, and
and it was Old Chicken playing the Timbersaw as well that game. So it's going to be an aim Lifestealer, putting it into like that one position role, though. It's going to be June, the offlane player, on the puck. So I don't think we'll be seeing the same shenanigans out of the Lifestealer, but who knows? Perhaps too soon to tell.
I definitely think the Lifestealer pick here explains the puck pick to a large extent. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be grouping up early for those bombs once puck's got the blink dagger, and trying to use that as a method for killing the enemy carries as often as they can.
And really good against Ember, since the blink silence means you can just lock him down in place instantly and try and kill him off.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And EHOME actually, I mean, to a large extent, this is a pretty standard, stable draft for them, because they've got a lot of strength fighting early on, but they also have a huge amount of scalability in the Ember Spirits and the Gyrocopter. And the biggest question mark, I agree with you from what we were saying early on, is going to be right at the start in the lane stage. Can they get a good start to the game? Certainly, Kaka's Clockwork should be able to help them with pulls to the mid lane, but it's being ping darts and there's drawings all over the map, so it looks like CDEC might actually just head off to block the Ancients.
Alright, well here we go, game number 2. EHOME with a 1-game lead here. They're going to drop down an early Observer Ward here, and they're coming in with their Ancients possibly getting contested here. AIM pops a Tango. I'm not sure if that was intended or not. Possibly thinking gives them a bit of extra vision there with that tree in the way, but I'm not sure if there was a clear idea in mind with that Tango.
30 seconds to battle.
Well, they wanted to go block the spawn, but now they're a bit afraid to charge into the high ground to do it. And it would have been a nice little plan, actually. It would have been like similar to the start of the previous game, where EHOME kind of shut down the plan CDEC Youth had. If CDEC, I mean, if they manage to block the spawn, Clockwork kind of loses a lot of its, what it's been picked for. Yeah.
2-hero decay, but CDEC will be able to secure themselves the bottom bounty rune. AIM unfortunately cannot contest top, and Old Chicken will be able to grab... Oh, Gyro's going mid. Gyrocopter takes it. Old Chicken going to go safely with the Ember, and they're doing a CTY mid Gyrocopter.
Yeah, I suspect this might have to do with the fact that this is the lane that... I mean, we said that they'd struggle against an aggressive tri-lane. We also said that the clock might be pulling. And I feel like, if you're going to protect CTY or Old Chicken, it's on balance, it is CTY. Give him that good early start. Yep. Old Chicken maybe a bit more adaptable, and CTY but more snowbally of a player.
Well, something you can do with the support Clockwork, you don't have to Ancient pull, you can also block creeps in, and Kaka showing he can do this Clockwork Cog trick better than most offlaner plays. He traps the entire creep wave off in the side here, and that's going to guarantee some good experience for 11 here, and starve farm, at least for now, away from the puck. Top lane, Old Chicken.
This is actually, to be honest...
Is this going to be a kill here? 1 or 2 more right clicks. AIM not getting close enough. Icy will get one more. He needs... he lost the Chilling Touch, though. He used all his Chilling Touch hits off, otherwise it may have been a kill. Demons getting beat down by Lanham. Needs to be a bit careful here. He's going for the Suicide, and okay, he'll be successful.
So far, I feel like CDEC Youth succeeding in applying pressure to the safe lane, failing to apply pressure to either of the other 2 lanes, and Lanham's now moving up to the top lane because that's the one place they do need to reinforce.
Yep. And you kind of mentioned it, like as far as which player would rather pressure, it may be CTY, but they're putting pressure down onto bottom lane. Old 11 looking to force June back to base here. He has got an illusionary orb fairly soon. Old 11 is going to go for the Firefly. June's got to get this orb off and get it off soon. He pops a Fairy Fire even just to guarantee his escape. It will be a salve coming out from June. The creep wave at his tower is being taken by demons though, so there's not really lost experience going as far as they're concerned. Kaka going in aggressive. The support Clockwork not really tanky enough to battle with the Bane near his tower. Kaka.
And as EHOME are running this as a dual lane with the bats and the clock, this is actually a lane that I saw run by Fnatic a month or two ago. I think back when Mushi was playing supports and he played the Clockwork in that lane. And the whole concept of the lane was that between the Napalm and the Cogs and the Battery Assault, you really do get punished for any kind of misplacement. If you stand in the wrong position for too long, all of a sudden you can't turn properly and you can't go this way, otherwise your mana gets burned or you get trapped. And it's going to be Demons caught in the jungle by Old 11. They're facing off, but Puck's on his way, so is Clockwork, and it's just going to be the Nightman.
Yeah, no Illusionary Orb, no aggression. The Tengu is already healing up the Batrider a bit there, so Batrider just plays it safe. But looking at the CS, this is kind of the opposite story of last game. This time around, CDEC are the ones dominating the CS charts early on, mid lane, in flame. Gets a kill, Fairy Fire. Is it going to save his life? Not quite, but he buys the bottle before he goes down. Boots and bottle up on Rayzan with a first blood. He wins the exchange in the mid lane with CTY.
There's actually some backstory there, by the way. I don't know if you know it. Inflame is actually the player who CTY replaced in EHOME. Like, it was a direct replacement. That's when Inflame got kicked from the team earlier in the year. It used to be Inflame and ZYF who were like the two cores, and then I think CTY played for DK back then.
Yeah, and he was on like a bit of a tier 2 team, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Although DK has now become IG Vitality and they've started doing well. So, but yeah, I feel like there's some ego there. It's like Inflame proves a point by taking down CTY 1v1 in the mid lane.
Inflame with Boots bottle now, level 5 already. These CS says on the EHOME side are ugly right now. Not a single player with over 10 CS. Across the board for the CDEC.Y side, they're looking pretty good, especially with the Lifestealer. Razor's been fighting so much, he hasn't got great CS at mid, but the first blood can kind of make up for some of that difference there, and EHOME are going to have to find some way to get maybe a bit more aggressive. It looks like top lane, though, they're going to be in some trouble here. In comes the Bane, the AA. They'll get the kill on Lana. Now they can take out the Tombstone. The Nightmare on Old Chicken. They can take the tomb out and now go for this kill, perhaps. Is another open wound? Doesn't look like it. No follow-up kill onto the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and after Razor's killed Jarkov in the mid lane, I mean, just look at that. That's one plasma field, basically, and CTY was on 80% HP, and now he's on, like, 20% HP.
He's got 5
this
CS.
Becomes it's a very difficult lane, and it's not like... I feel like suddenly they wish they had put the Gyrocopter in the safe lane, although obviously Ember Spirit's not going to do any better against Razor.
No. I guess they were potentially expecting something a bit different coming out from the CDC draft. That plasma field very close to clipping CTY, and I believe would have secured a kill. Should have been just enough damage. Now the rotation comes in. I think the Dire Observer did scout this one out. As Demons off to the side, Lanham is there. No Tombstone for 3 seconds, so he toggles the Nightmare. Possibly going to see Lanham be the new target instead. Nope, they're going to just back off, retreat. In comes Batrider. Ember Spirit gets killed off at the bottom lane by the Puck. Demons now in some trouble here. He pops the Brain Sap. Inflame has a Plasma Field. That's going to get 1 kill. Is there a second? Looks like for now, Inflame going to be the one going down on the CDEC side, and perhaps not the exchange CDC were hoping for in the mid lane with Batrider showing up. But happily for them, Ember Spirit, level 4 only, died at bottom lane after deciding to vacate the top lane.
Yeah, they actually, I was watching that the Clock and the Ember tried to run at the Puck for a kill. And when they decided, okay, it's screwed, we're turning around, running away, Puck kind of just waited for Clock to get out of range and then jumped straight back all of a sudden onto Ember Spirits, and Ember wasn't ready without the Clock nearby. It's interesting, we talked so much about the Clock doing Ancient Pools, and there hasn't even been an attempt this game. Kaka just seems set on like getting levels. He wants to get his level 6 as soon as possible, if you ask me, because then he can sort of play the more tempo controlling role that he likes to play.
Well, CTY has gone from being the top net worth of his team to the bottom net worth of his team currently. We're just 6 minutes in, I'm sure that's going to change, but that is possibly the worst imaginable start for a Gyrocopter. Looking to kind of change that here. They're chasing down Inflame at top. Clockwork is there to block him off, covering the retreat, gets the Cog push as well. Gyrocopter comes in, Batrider gets the kill, but here comes AIM. Lifestealer rages up, looking for some kills. The action here, the Puck comes in, rotates with a Dream Coil. He secured his team 1 kill. It looks like they're going to go for a couple more. There's the Infest damage, catching out both. Lanham keeps himself alive with a bit of damage output here. Old Chicken now rotating in. Looks like he's going to have to be a hero that they either run from or they fight. Now they're going to fight. AIM manning up with the rage. One more right click will secure the kill, and Ember, without a level 6, just did not have an answer to that one. CTY, one last rocket barrage, split between 3 heroes, and Bane gets a triple kill. Demons cleaning up here. AIM on the Lifestealer just doing so much work as well. Those Lifestealer buffs really kind of coming into play here as well, and a team wipe for CDEC.
Yeah, and we asked at the end of the last game if the series might be the CTY show, and honestly, I think this is consistent with that because the CTY show is not it's not just CTY doing everything. It's sometimes CTY has these really terrible games where, I mean, to be fair, not all of it's his fault. A lot of it's to do with the draft and how the lanes got set up, but I feel like CTY is most comparable to maybe Miracle or QO in terms of like being a feast or famine player where you hardly ever see him have just like a pretty average game.
His average, well, his not so average game is going to get even worse now as Lifestealer comes back top. The Cold Feet will proc and AIM will get himself another kill. Phase, Bracer. Imagine a drums pickup will be coming soon, giving him more movement speed and just more chase and aggression for the CDEC Youth squad. And for EHOME, this is about as bad as it gets. Demon's been caught out by a Nightmare. In comes the Puck. Have they got the damage for this? It is a level 4 Bane with Brain Sap. They're going to break the Flame Guard, and it looks like they should be able to get this kill. Dream Call available, and they'll use it. Old Chicken pops a one, goes for the Suicide. He'll get it. Nice decision there from the Ember at the last second to get that denied, but it's still another death to his name.
Oh, it's an important kill on Inflame in the mid lane, and it's actually one important thing that EHOME have been doing. I mean, if you don't, they've got 6 kills and 4 of them on the Razor.
Yep.
It's like that's I think that's quite significant actually, because if Razor was doing really well, had a really great start, it's probably the scariest hero in terms of like snowballing and running at them.
And at no stage can they really counter him. A hero like Lifestealer you can itemize with 4-star to use the Clockwork to kite him around and keep him back. And speaking of Clockwork, you'll find another successful rotation. We'll catch IC. He's trying to leave the kill for Old Chicken. Or CTY. CTY. That is the most selfless Clockwork play I've ever seen. He backed off the trapped hero just to give his carry the kill.
It's Kaka, man. He's like, in many respects, I think for EHOME in this tournament, been the MVP. I mean, partially just because he's been playing Earth Spirit all the time and doing really well in it, but just a really solid player. And I noticed during that gank that Old 11 actually finished his Blink Dagger on the Batrider. So now they're going to have an active clock with Hook plus the Batrider with Blink, and that's probably the route for EHOME to you know, pull back the momentum of this game if they get a couple more pickoffs with those two heroes.
Yeah, this game still, yeah, very much winnable for them. You kind of talked about how poorly the Razor will do, and Gyrocopter has got levels. He's level 6 now, so he rotates with a cooldown with Rocket Barrage. He gets a kill or two with like Batrider leading the way. If that's a kill on a core hero, like a Puck or a Razor, suddenly he's massive. Triple Fire Remnant forward, Inflame, gonna catch the front of it. There's the cooldown. Is there enough damage? It doesn't look like it. It's AIM coming in from behind. Old Chicken has grossly overextended, and 2 kills go CDC Young's way. Looking for the third onto Kaka. He's got a hook shot available. He's trying to go for it at the Ancients. No, he goes for it onto Old 11. That'll get him far enough away, and the Tombstone being used to cover the retreat as well. Orb hits Kaka. But there's no chase. It's going to be a Blink Lasso back in the tomb. Can they get the kill onto June? He's got no orb to escape this one. The Nightmare helping him out, and the Razor Plasma Field. Clips 1, gets the Clockwork. Old 11 goes down as well. That's 4 dead on the side of EHOME. They'll lose the T1 mid tower as well, and CDEC once again get back into prime fighting position.
This is the thing. I think that CTY, and even to a lesser extent Old Chicken, they're not... I don't think they have the patience to say, the game's going badly for me, but don't worry, my teammates will pull me back into the game. And so they go in and try and start a fight where we were just talking about how Clockwork's got the hook, Bat's got the blink. That's a good way to start a pickoff. And if that pickoff attempt at the mid lane on the Razor, if that started with the Clock or the Bat, they probably do get the kill and get away. But because they try and start with the Gyrocopter and the Ember Spirit, with the Clock and the Bat very far away, it's too easy for CDEC Youth to respond in a, you know, positive way and take a victory out of the fight.
Well, for that, Lifestealer skyrockets to the top of the farm charts, and for CDEC Youth, they've got to be feeling very good about this game. They can start thinking about itemizing to maybe help deal with some of those tools, like the Batrider, like the Clockwork. 4-star's probably going to be the name of the game for at least someone, like a Bane or an Ancient Apparition. But Lifestealer, I mean, to go back to this hero a bit, this is actually a hero that used to be picked up quite a bit against the Clockwork because of how well he matches up. Generally, you don't want to be hookshotting into a Lifestealer because he can just rage and turn and fight you. It's okay later on once you can use the cogs to push him around and keep him out of fights, but for the most part, the laning stage of the early game is very Lifestealer favored in this matchup. Yeah,
I agree with that. And Lifestealer in general, I feel like a hero that's just been... I mean, this is going to like polarize opinion, but a lot of players have spoken in the last year about how this hero is just terrible, and I don't think it is. I think it's like not fit into any meta that we've seen for a very long time. We have seen Chinese teams earlier in the year, especially ZYF was playing it a lot, and I think in EHOME when he was still here. running quite successfully the lifesteal in these kind of group up as 5 early on and apply pressure strategies, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do on All 11's BAP.
He's got a blink, though.
He's got a blink.
They've got to be able to hit him before he uses it. It looks like he's just trying to bait them in. The Infested lifesteal into AA, probably not the duo you're looking for, but unfortunately June's still searching for that blink dagger, and he's the target that EHOME were looking for down bottom, so recognizing that that blink on Puck could be their demise just because of how threatening it is with a lifestealer at this stage. So Fiend's Grip at the ready. Can they get the Nightmare or the Fiend's Grip off here at top? They're hoping Ember just gets a bit too greedy going for last hits here. Doesn't look like he's going to do so just yet.
For me, the reason I like lifesteal in these kind of like pseudo deathball group up strategies is because a whole lot of the time in these drafts, the way that they develop is the critical mass is when the carry gets BKB, and lifesteal just doesn't need to buy that item. He can just like have level 4 rage, and that's built in BKB with attack speed. And I think that just like puts you one item ahead in the group up plan. You're like that much stronger.
You can see the power of him right now. He's off to a great start. He's going to build into the armlet now after the drums, and see Old Chicken lurking around this top lane, but nothing he can do to defend this. Meanwhile, the Puck, the call down, guessing where June was, unsuccessful, but the Batrider can still find him. Silence is there. It doesn't look like June will have an escape. Another orb not available. And he'll get taken out. Slows down the Blink Dagger. That is a crucial pickoff for EHOME, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. Very important pickoff, and well timed as well, because going for the pickoff while the enemy team is pushing the other side of the map, you kind of know that it's unlikely to turn bad. And as a result, I think they get the tower trade-off too. It looks like CDC Youth are trying to get a tier 2 of this too, but I don't know if they have the time or the pushing part to actually finish this tower.
Perhaps just confident that if heroes come, they can take the fight. Old Chicken's in a position where he can flank them, and suggesting he may do so, but Batrider's TPing into the tier 3, has a lasso at the ready, and the Radiant Vision behind the tower is very lacking right now, so we'll see who they look to go on here. Bane positioned behind, aim. Is he going to be the target on the retreat? There's the blink, does not get the rage off during this one. Rocket Barrage is there, as is the Ice Blast, and aim, rage, infest available. Has he got a creep to get into? No, he's just going to turn and fight. Old Chicken at the back lines. He may get cold feet up. The Plasma Field's there, and aim, he gets the infest off at the last second, but he pops out of the creep as it dies, and it looks like this is a good fight for EHOME. They've taken out 2. They're chasing down, looking for more. They'll get a 3rd. Puck orbs in with a silence, gets 1. June, Dream Call, but I think he just needs to run the hell out of this. He may actually die for this. Buy your blink. Buy your blink, June. There we go. He's bought it, and he gets taken out by the Batrider Flame Break. Good team fight for EHOME, though.
It's a good team fight for EHOME, but I can't wonder about like this constant dynamic of, it seems like it's always the Gyro and the Ember Spirit dying, and they're like, I sort of wonder if they approach the fight slightly differently. Maybe if Old Chicken waited slightly longer to go in, or if CDEC.Y did that, you know, let the Clockwork or the Battleline die and go in front, and it's that much of a better fight for them if they go 4 for 2 but their carry survive than if they go 4 for 2 and their carries die.
It didn't feel like Old Chicken didn't actually dish out any damage that fight. I think he got off like 1 Searing Chains. I guess he soaked up spells, which otherwise would have gone elsewhere, but like you say, if he survives, it's much better for them. Aim at the mid lane, armlet complete. Did he have the armlet for that fight? I want to say he didn't.
I think he did.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think he definitely bought it. I'm not sure if it was on him. Like he had the last component in the career. I saw that previous to the fight.
Rotation towards bottom has been scouted out by a Radiant Lane Ward, and it's going to be CDEC responding. They'll bypass this ward. Can they get the jump they're looking for? Puck has a blink in hand. Life still at no infest for the time being, but all he's going to do is get vision, and they will do so soon. The Ice Blast will see both Dream Coil catches too, CTY as well as Kaka likely to fall. You can't TP away with the Bane there. He's going to go for the hookshot on June. He wants a counter kill if possible. Will not find it. 2 kills for CDC, another death for CTY, his 7th of the game.
You know, I've always been a pretty big proponent of the view that fights late in the game are won by the controlling heroes more than the damage output heroes.
Oh, mid.
But this kind of takes it to, yeah, Old Chicken's dead too. It's just like, this takes it to a totally new extreme. It warps the whole dynamic, because for EHOME, the heroes doing well are all the control heroes, and the damage heroes are just not scaling.
Yeah.
And I think that even if we say that the control heroes are more important in winning fights, at some point you pay for not having the damage.
Hey man, it was just
as simple as that.
the support Ember Spirit that nobody was expecting coming out from EHOME.
I called it in the draft, man.
Yeah, you called it. You were right, Scant. Come on now. Support Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Ember Spirit is the poorest hero in the game right now. By the way, he's.
That's why I was joking about the support Ember Spirit, taking a page from the Arteezy book, perhaps. So, CDEC in very good shape here to force a game number 3.
So, on the subject of Aetherlens, what do you think of Bane? I actually think Bane is a really nice Aetherlens holder.
Oh, mid lane, June caught out. He'll get taken down, but I think it's fantastic on the hero just because of how important being as far away as possible for the Fiend script can be.
Yeah, and even for the Nightmare catch to set up, I mean, the main reason people level up Nightmare is just for the range. It's not really for the duration. It's just to be able to catch someone without them reacting to you. So I definitely think as far as the item goes, this is one of the better heroes to have it on. But obviously we still have that, you could have gone for Force, you could have gone for a Glimmer Cape, and they are against Clockwork and Batrider, so it maybe suggests that they're just feeling very confident that he could have bought the Force Staff. They are against heroes that Force Staff's very good against, but they feel in control.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to maybe fall more to Icy this game to get some of those items like the Force, or most noticeably the Force Staff against the Clockwork. He's just gone for an earned Bracer. As much as you maybe want to get an Ag Scepter, the heal negate is slightly less important in this game, so we probably just see him go towards some of those cheaper utility items.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, right now Old Chicken is just standing very far back, and CDEC.Y is having some time farming, but almost like they've built up a competition this game to see which of the two of them can die more, because that's out of 19 kills, 13 of them are those two players.
Jeez, yeah. And right now they're only willing to send one out on the map to farm. It's like, okay, CDEC.Y is farming top and Gyro, Old Chicken. If you're both farming, one of you is going to die. So CDEC.Y is kind of trying to split push and just move around and avoid the CDEC ganks, but that's going to get harder and harder to do with the Infest bombs into the puck. Something CDEC, those two, like a Lifestealer plus puck can kill any hero on the map really, and that's where EHOME are going to have to spend a lot of time grouped up when heroes are missing.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that goes back to why it's not necessary for CDEC youth CDEC youth to prioritize the Force Staff right now, because it's they who have the ability to apply the pressure. They've got the initiative. It's difficult to imagine EHOME going for a pickoff, because it's like, if EHOME go for a big play like that, say it's a whole team smoke play, then they could lose a fight and just twice make their position twice as bad. Whereas if they do it with just one or two heroes, then they can't be covering the recovery of the Gyrocopter and the Ember Spirit.
They're looking for the pickoff. Inflame at bottom. That's the SMY movement speed. Can they catch him in time? He backs off a little bit. Old 11. Still trying to scan. The Rocket Flare won't see it, and that Rocket Flare may be a bit of a tip-off here. CDEC are grouping up with numbers down here, and it looks like they maybe expect the aggression to come their way.
Yeah, you see, I mean, EHOME are not comfortable splitting up. They're too worried about getting picked off, but if they group up and go too near your base, you're just going to go fight them and kill them.
I was wondering why Lifestealer was on the map, and here's the answer. He's in an Ancient.
He's spitting fire at neutral creeps.
Yep. Why the hell not? I mean, that's like a safety vehicle for him, I guess. It means he can't really be ganked and taken out. There is no way anybody has the physical damage to kill off Ancients. Your best bet is the creeps do it, so if you want to farm and farm alone, having an Ancient is the way to do it.
I mean, I think that a lot of the time you jump into an Ancient, you actually slow your farm rates, especially on one position hero, but with the change to this dragon, you can farm like whole waves at once, and it's probably not actually slowing down the farm rates either.
We'll throw another fireball, and that's going to use up all the mana on this dragon, but oh, the jerk Ember Spirit comes in and gets a few denies, but yep, he pops out now. AIM says, okay, enough's enough. That was a fun little stint. He's going to TP himself back to base. 3.3k gold. Is it like a Deso or something? Okay, Deso picked up with the TP scroll. I really like this pickup. Just the ability to instantly burst down an Ember Spirit. Like, during Rage, he just kills anyone out there pretty much. Unless, like, a Ember Spirit can get a Fire Remnant out, but if you're silenced, you're just done for. Clockwork's got a full stop, but so many of these heroes are going to be incredibly squishy to the Lifestealer Deso.
Yeah, the Clock and the Bats have Force. They've got the Clockwork Cog and Undying Mech, so they've itemized to try and deal with it. But the real issue is that they're gonna have to like focus their attention when a fight breaks out. Lifestealer's there. It like priority number one. Make sure you're helping to kite the Lifestealer, because if you forget for a few seconds because you're thinking about something else, that person's dead.
Oh, CDEC.Y is being caught. He even saw them coming. The safety comes from the former Clockwork Kaka. The selfless support hooks in, 4-staff CDEC.Y away. Meanwhile, top lane Icy is perhaps being caught out here. 11 needs an escape plan though. June is there. Does he have a TP cancel? Doesn't look like it. The coil's already been used and Old 11 will escape. Aim. Uh-oh. Rage. Deso. Is this going to be enough? One more right click. Ooh, Lanham. Needed 2 more and almost died in his own fountain there.
Well, all things considered, that's actually a very good trade for EHOME.
Yep.
I mean, came very close to losing a lot of people, but they didn't. They got a 1-for-1 trade. It's now the Clockwork that dies and not the Gyro or the Ember Spirit. So I don't know if I feel like it's a bit fortunate. I feel like a similar series of events happens a few more times and it doesn't look that good for EHOME.
Yeah, they need to keep like the speed of this game up. The Lifestealer, not a hero known for his ability to like scale great into the late game. Ember has been kept down tremendously well. Will pick up Boots of Travel. I guess he's probably thinking like if you go for a treads, it's not going to help you fight. You go for small items, it's not really going to change the fact you're as underleveled as he is. So just going for that kind of split push potential that this Boots of Travel gives him.
Yeah, he's able to mess with the enemy team a bit. He can like show it one wave and then pull back, and then they're not sure if he TP'd somewhere else, if he's still around. And it's in a way, it's almost like a safety net for himself. Whereas before, it's too predictable, his movements, once they see him once.
Yep. Well, Old Chicken, newsflash, you no longer get vision from your fire remnants. He drops one in the Roshan pit trying to scout things out, but that does not work anymore. We'll see June now on the move. Blink and Yules. It's going to be... he actually fire him to the Rosh. He gets one now out of the Roshan pit. I don't think the Dire side quite know where he is. And there we go. He gets back into the lane. Has been spotted though. It looks like June maybe
here comes the Lifestealer bomb.
I think they know the whereabouts of these CDC heroes because of the Observer Ward near Roche. But it's going to be a tier 2 tower, it looks like. The Desolator, another great thing about this item, just allows you to take objectives, be it towers or Roshan, that little bit easier.
Did you get a tier 1 in return? That's a BKB for Batrider. That's, I mean, we talk about Gyro and Ember having to catch up, but this Bat has been like near the top all game and definitely doing some heavy lifting.
You've talked about all the deaths on the carries. I mean, you look at some of the score lines. If you knew that 11 was going to have such a good game on Batrider and that Lanham as a support Undying was going to go 4-2-8, you'd be like, wow, it sounds like EHOME are going to have a good game too, but it's the cores, the Ember, the Gyro, the CDEC.Y and Old Chicken duo that are the ones struggling this game, and doesn't feel like things are going to get easier anytime soon.
I think that 11 and Lanham, they're going to feel at least a little bit better about the fact that the game slowed down and that maybe they've been able to like calm down CDEC.Y and Old Chicken who seem to like be impatient, wanted to just like keep fighting and get back into the game that way. And it seems like a bit of a victory for the support cast that their carries are like, okay, fine, we'll take it easy for now.
Yeah. And a lot of time is being spent by CDEC Youth moving around the map, not finding kills, not finding those openings. And the split push has not been punished for some time now. We see Gyrocopter get near the tier 2 top, getting some farm. Mid lane though, this time around, can they get the clock? No, he gets the 4-staff away, and there's the punish coming in on June. Blink lasso from Old 11, he won't even need the BKB. Old 11 charges forward, needs to be a bit careful about that decision, as he no longer has the lasso, but does have some decent backup. But the catch is kind of lost, with hookshot and lasso both used. Still a victory for EHOME, they get the kill on the puck. Yeah, this game is like an advert for 4-staff, I would say. It's EHOME getting so much value out of their 4-staffs, like really having to do their best to, you know, fight their way back in a position where they, I mean, weirdly enough, they've never been that far behind in overall net worth. It's just the distribution that's been so weird. Their damage dealers haven't really had items, but things are starting to gradually even out. CDEC.Y is getting back up there. Old Chicken's still quite far behind, but I honestly think all it takes at this point is EHOME to win a big fight, like 4-for-1 or 5-for-1 or something like that, and they'd probably be comfortably ahead if they did do that. I mean,
and that's maybe something that
you look at the graphs right now, and it's pretty even between the two teams. Experience is nil, gold is pretty much nil, so for EHOME, like you say, one fight and suddenly CDEC.Y can pick up his next big item. If CDEC.Y or Old Chicken survive a big fight like you're talking about, then even more so, the game will be in EHOME's favor.
Yeah, and it's something that's a strength of EHOME's draft. I was alluding to at the start of the game, that they've got a draft that can fight early, but also scales really well. And I think CDEC Youth will be aware of that their draft doesn't scale as well. So yeah, they're a bit ahead, but if they lose a fight, then suddenly they're not ahead at all, they're behind. And from there, it's hard to fight their way back in. And so they want to keep applying pressure, but they're nervous about how to do it, because they know that it's you know, they're not that in control of the game. So actually they're going to make a smoke play into the rush pit, which is a different kind of risk, as there's going to be a smoke play from the enemy side, and I wonder if they dip past the rush to... No, won't get revealed.
No. They know about the Desolator, so this is always a possibility. They're swinging towards top side of the map, though. If CDC got caught there, you can just lasso and pull the Lifestealer onto a cliff, and he's stuck there. There's no Force Staffs on the Radiant side. And perhaps something they've been missing is that added bit of utility from the Force Staffs the Glimmer Cape have been talking about. A lot of it comes just because AA has no ability to farm those items, and Bane did commit for the Aether Lens.
Yeah, and it honestly, it is a serious commitment in this game, because you don't, neither Bane nor AA have like natural ways of healing or repositioning or saving their teammates really. I mean, the best you got is like nightmaring someone. It's not really like a proper save. Nice. So not buying the Force of Glimmer like kind of exacerbates that effect.
Nice blast coming in. The puck blinks forward, does not get a Dream Call catch, and decides to back off. CDC defend their tier 1 mid and we'll force EHOME away, but for EHOME, this seems to be going according to the game plan. You just keep on pulling CDC youth around the map, not giving the pickoffs. You're catching up on some farm. Gyrocopter's got a BKB Yasha now, can finish off either the SMY or a Manta style fairly soon, and across the board, there is some kind of signs of life across the EHOME side.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's part of EHOME's plan that eventually CDC youth are going to just become so frustrated they're going to take a bad fight, and then that's where the game just completely turns. So I think credit to CDC youth, at least, they haven't yet, you know, been frustrated enough to take that really bad fight.
Oh, I see. He's been caught out alone. Just an AA, but for EHOME, it's very much just an AA is just okay for them. They'll take whatever they can get. They're not in any rush to take a big team fight or to kill the core heroes. They just want a pick-off where a pick-off can present itself. And they'll lose a tier 2 tower for this one, but already towards the top lane goes the Ember Spirit to start the split push. And for CDEC, not really entirely sold on their ability to breach the high ground here with this lineup. Lifesteal with Rage Deso is fairly potent, but against the Batrider when he's got Lasso, you've got to be so careful.
It's just so tough for them, because if you think about how the game scales, like they aren't really shutting down EHOME's farm that much. So is there going to be a better opportunity? They've got the Aegis. As everyone picks up more items, it feels like it just gets worse for them. And obviously, as I said before, they're very aware of the fact that losing one big fight could throw the entire game and the chance that they have in it. But they also have to be aware of the fact that the later the game goes, the more likely it is that EHOME could take control without even winning a fight.
Yeah. And it's been so hard for them to find pickoffs largely. This gem pickup for... It was Kaka who bought it for Old 11. We talked about how much selfless play Kaka's made. This gem adding onto that as well. The Cog's going to prevent the CDEC youth chase here. They're trying to find pickoffs, but they've just got no map vision right now. It's an entirely dark map for CDEC youth. It almost feels like they should have been the ones to pick up a gem much earlier on. This gem pickup for the puck, a very new arrival, and EHOME has just had a constant vision advantage over the CDEC youth boys. This move from CDEC.Y, though, perhaps going to be his undoing. Doesn't look like there's a way out for him. He's got a BKB. He'll actually pop it and make a run for it. He's got no TP, though. So all they've got to do is chase him down. The Ice Blast will catch. Bane even actually using a Fiend's Grip there. Perhaps not needed. And the Ember Spirit can become the new target. June chasing down. Gets a Dream Call. That's onto the Batrider, who did not get the BKB off. Mech is there, and AIM will not get the kill. These 4 staffs saving lives, as Lifestealer will infest his way back to safety. A lot of damage dealt to CDEC youth as AIM pops himself out.
Bane's probably just happy that he found a time to use his ulti. I mean, they didn't need it, but he hasn't been using it, and that actually speaks back to the Aether Lens pickup. Like, the way the game panned out, I think it was definitely a huge mistake. He's going back for the 4 stuff now, he'll have it soon, but none of the advantages the Aether Lens gives him have actually mattered. And it does feel like the fact that EHOME have had all these like controlling defensive items and repositioning, you know, the double 4 stuff, etc., has given them like something of an advantage in the last 10 minutes or so. So very big kill, I think, for CDEC youth, but it's enabled mostly by CDEC.Y.
Yeah.
And
it hasn't
been happening that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting a bit impatient again, and that's... I almost feel like this game now becomes like... It's more of an internal struggle for EHOME than it is a struggle against CDEC youth, because they've shown signs that they know what they need to do to win, and they've also shown signs that some of their players are not really patient enough to do that, and a lot of their game's going to depend on, you know, if they can be disciplined about how they approach the game.
Well, Lifesteal now picks up a Basher. Just the casual Yasha for him. Top lane, oh, they've caught demons. Bane goes down, and That was a lasso catch coming out of Batrider. EHOME finding some support kills. A completely different story between the two teams. EHOME killing the supports, CDEC.Y killing the carries, but for EHOME they've still managed to hold on to a decent position for this game. It is about a 7,000 gold lead down for CDEC.Y, so they have started to pull away. I think it is their biggest lead of the game currently, more or less, and now we're going to look towards the Infest bombs. The gem has managed to take out most of the vision that EHOME have had. Just the one ward around the top side of the map remaining for EHOME. And that's where they actually find pickoffs. They find CDEC.Y after they do some dewarding, and this gem pickup for June already it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, it's very big, and it's maybe something to be said about like being the less experienced team, because you do usually see if one team's dominant early on, they're the ones that get the gem first, and it's a strange dynamic that EHOME were from behind the ones risking the gem early on and was a bit delayed for CDEC.Y. And I completely agree with you that since they've gotten it, that's what's kind of like restabilized a bit for them.
Yeah. Well, Old Chicken says doesn't need a Mantis Cell, just casual Yasha is going to have a Battle Fury at a not so great timing, but considering where he was 5 minutes ago, he's probably looking at this as a good timing. June still unable to find the pickoffs that he'd like to with the Lifestealer Infest, is sitting around that top side of the map, and for EHOME, they're huddled pretty closely together. There's often the Batrider making plays like this where he goes off a bit by himself. He's looking for a tier 1 mid. It's being pinged out. It will get glyphed up. And 11 will back himself off as the tier 1 mid, likely to get denied. But either way, it's some map control lost in a sense for CDEC.Y. Having that tier 1 mid tower just gives them that kind of central point on the map that they can always TP to and use to kind of control their own jungle a bit better.
Do you think... what do you think Old 11's gonna buy? He's very rich actually, and he's got all the basic items. Like, does he go for the Bone 7 Mask of Madness? Is he gonna try the Aghanims?
As far as the Aghanims is pretty nice, especially considering Lifesteal is often infested inside a puck for an initiation. If you can BKB and lasso the two of them, you're looking fantastic. As far as like maybe a more kind of safe, stable item, the Shiva's Guard is always really good against Lifestealer, and also the fact that Razor is dishing out a decent amount of damage himself. He's BKB'd up. He's now looking to fight. Kaka misses the hookshot escape, and Inflame will get himself a double kill here. And CDEC.Y, they found a good opening here in the mid lane, taking a couple of kills here. The Old Chicken Ember Spirit doing what he can to try and creep skip, and he's actually managed to take out what looks to be pretty much the entire creep wave minus this one range creep. Will he pay for it with his life?
Yeah, and they caught the Bane on the back lines.
Ember gets out.
But this is still like, even if he lives here, it's, you know, like unnecessarily risky, I think. I don't call that space created, I call that like, we're lucky we got away with it. Because if you see where the Batrider is, I mean, the two of them made a kill together. While they're clocking and Undying were dying, they caught the Bane with the AA at the back. And the Bats immediately left, and Old Chicken was like just hanging around, again showing maybe a little bit of volatility or instability. And it is interesting as this game progresses how, like, you know, we see these two carries kind of fighting their way back into the game and just needing to kind of hang on to that composure. But Old Chicken does get caught in the mid lane again.
Yep.
Yeah, he's dead.
And no follow-up kill onto Old 11, who BKBs out of the Dream Coil and goes in for a Blink Lasso, catches out June. The hookshot slide overlap. Can they get the kill on June? Anyways, it looks like they will, and that's a gem steal, so worth the slight overcommitment perhaps to make sure they get that one. AIM looking to punish though, and Old 11 goes down, gets bashed and taken out. The gem, can it be reclaimed? They've got item slots somewhere, maybe. Inflame could drop a TP. They'll take out the tomb for now, and there we go. Inflame drops his TP, picks up the gem. He's pinging it out. I don't think he wants to be carrying the gem right now. He'd much rather be able to... Okay, he sells something there and picks up a TP now.
I think that CDEC.Y might try get a tier 3 now. Just because the Batrider is dead.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters that much the Ember's dead. I think it's the first chance they've actually had all game to approach the high ground without a Batrider.
We'll get at least a decent amount of damage done to it. Batrider's lasso still on cooldown for 10 seconds. He can buy back here, which may be the plan. Try and get a catch. They use the cooldown. AIM. Be forced to back off a little bit. As Batrider's still dead for 20, and CDEC say, okay, Ember's respawning, Batrider's respawning soon. We don't know the buyback status. Let's just back off and get a few more items. Razor, despite being most of the deaths in the early game for CDEC, has managed to quickly catch up in farm and actually top the net worth chart at this stage of the game. This is looking like one of those scary late game Razor performances now.
Yeah, now that IC's got a Glimmer Cape and Demons has got the 4-staff, there's also less weaknesses in the setup of CDC Youth, so...
It's amazing how
I
some of
think
these
that
small items mattered so much. A Glimmer Cape, a 4-staff, and a Gem seem to be like the 3 items that were picked up at a fairly similar time, and suddenly the overall game plan got a whole lot easier to execute for CDEC.
Yeah, and now I feel like it's kind of like old 11 is just holding EM together all on his own. And that's why the first time they got the high ground is as soon as he's dead, and the same thing will happen again. If he dies again, like, that's an objective. Every time this bat is dead, that's an objective. It's weird that that's the hero that we're talking about, not the Ember or the Gyro, but that's kind of how the game shaped up.
Even if he like uses a lasso or wastes a lasso, suddenly there's like a small little window where CDC can do some pretty good damage. The lasso is a very important part of what he can bring to the table. He is level 16, so it has got that fairly short cooldown. So we'll see EHOME posturing around. Puck goes in aggressive, drops the Dream Coil, gets immediately pulled back in, and June perhaps a bit too aggressive. The Razor goes charging forward. BKB shivers. He wants to fight on the front lines. The Kaka hookshot didn't really amount to too much. He's chasing CTY. Puck will buy back. Over in the main fight, it looks like the Ice Blast onto Kaka with a grip. That'll lock him in place. That Aether Lens giving that extra needed range and aim. Needs to back up Inflame here. He's got the backup. Old Chicken gets first hit bash. The 4-stuff is there, but there's no Fire Remnants to escape to. He had one. I'm not sure if he had the mana to use it or not. And as a result, EHOME, they lose 2. Lasso is down. Possible push could come from CDC, but maybe better yet, they could just go for Roshan.
Yeah, it looked initially like June was showing a bit of the CTY Old Chicken like impatience there, just diving in and like getting punished for it. But he has the buyback. He doesn't really need that many more items. It's not like it's the lifesteal or the Razor. He's not one. He's he's the extra hero. So
Are they going to go for this
it
one?
works out. It could even have been calculated. I think.
Thought about contesting the Roshan.
You know, it actually, like, considering we were talking about the importance of the Batrider, it actually could be in the interest of CDC Youth to have Batrider go on Pack. Yep. Especially if Pack's already used the Dream Coil.
Absolutely, and I don't know if that was entirely the game plan for Puck to just die right away at the start of the fight, but having no lasso for Razor and Lifestealer made that fight so much easier for CDEC.
Yeah, so they'll have another Aegis now. Again, it's on the Razor. But again, I feel like the previous time they had the Aegis, it basically just timed out, right? So I don't think it actually went down. And it's again because they're nervous to take the high ground against the heroes they're against, and particularly the Batrider. It's an awkward spot for Old 11 to be in. I gotta say, like, if EM end up winning this game, he gets so much credit because he's now playing the role of the guy who has to catch people out, but he's also the one who, if he dies, his team might lose an objective. And usually that's not the same person. Like, usually you have a different hero going for pickoffs and like holding all your important way to deal with the enemy team.
Ember's starting to pick up some level of farm for the high ground defense. If he can get up to like something like a Daedalus, that high ground defense gets a little bit easier. Although the bonus armor is there. Razor very tanky, sitting on 28 armor. They've got an Assault Caress as well on the Lifestealer, so not going to be easy to bring down these two heroes. And they're just going to possibly just look for the high ground jump here. Puck has no buyback, something to keep in mind. He may be a bit more wary of just kind of suiciding himself for the greater good, since it will be a very long respawn. Not that CDC are really at any risk of losing their base should the fight go slightly astray, but more just kind of something the Puck's going to be kind of second guessing.
It's so interesting to me that 11 is the most far forward hero all the time.
Yeah.
He's the one sticking his neck out, even though he's the one who, you know, they need to make sure doesn't die. And it's just like a certain, I mean, he's barely been punished this game. He's got good control, good understanding, and obviously with the items he has, it is quite difficult for them to kill him.
Well, possibly we'll get a bit easier. Puck is actually working on an Aghanim Scepter. You think about Puck's like blinking in, throwing a Dream Coil, and then not caring if he dies. If he's got an Ag Scepter, that initiation becomes that much more potent because of the fact that you can't just BKB and escape the Dream Coil. You will still get stunned up, so imagine that's something that CDC may put some farm priority towards.
That was a Firefly blink, force forward, tried to get someone but didn't, and both teams ended up backing off.
Razor has the money for a Skadi now.
It's a smoke from CDC Youth.
Yep. Dire Ward, not sure that would have scouted it. It was close, but CDC Youth don't seem to be fooling EHOME, who are still grouped up on their high ground in their own base. Old Chicken down bottom, not even looking to show himself. You can see the ping. That was actually a land and ping, like, dude, what are you doing? Make sure you stay hidden. And he just pinged exactly where CDEC were in the mid lane, so Inflame will show himself, and the gig is up. CDEC reveal themselves. Old Chicken immediately says, okay, it's safe, let's split push. What a bait that would be if Inflame showed himself alone mid and then you like jump the Ember though. Not to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the play that they were actually going for.
Team's just going to go
Just
for a
gonna
high
be
ground
some
foot.
slow sieging for now.
Yeah. Razor on the front line.
Yeah, I guess
with
they
an
don't mind
Aegis.
if Razor gets caught.
The main scare is it is a
Thing is, like-
double 4-staff into tier 4 towers. So he can get pulled
Yeah.
very, very far
Exactly.
into their base. Flame. If they can break the Aegis for free, it looks like they'll do just that. The insta-grip onto old 11. Yeah, he's going to go down. He's got buyback though. He's going to have to use it immediately. Aim on the front lanes, breaks the Undying. And a great start to the fight for CDEC, but EHOME looking to come back in. They have got the lasso still up. Old Chicken, can he find anyone to catch you? They also do some good damage at bottom. Almost felt like if Old Chicken had stayed down there, he could have done a bit more. Forced some rotations back. A big creep wave at top as well. Definitely time for CDEC.Y to retreat.
Yeah, force the buyback out of bats. I think that's more than enough of a victory, because now they've got that 7-minute window where, you know, if Bat-Rider dies, they can like go for megas pretty much. Like it really is. It feels like that's the only, even though the Bat-Rider is not like the major damage output, in order for the fight to have the character that EHOME need to win it, the Bat needs to make a significant play.
Lame. Backs off farming the Ancients. He's still wary of what the Bat-Rider can do with a pick-off from that lasso. We'll need some backup, but he's got it in the form of the Clockwork as well as the Ember Spirit around this top lane. And another smoke for CDEC.Y. They've actually got a decent number of smokes still left here in the late game. They used one just a couple minutes ago and are ready for another round. Aegis has timed out with the Razor. Well, Razor actually using it, but it now gives us the time it will be coming up in the near future.
I wonder if part of the apprehension early on when CDEC.Y were going to the high ground, EHOME is kind of like, they could catch the Razor, they could pull him super far back, maybe even kill him twice, but then they're not controlling the Lifestealer. And there's part of me that thinks that like really the ideal fight for them involves the Bat taking out the Lifestealer. I think that's a fight that EHOME's going to win. If the Bat controls the Lifestealer to the point that they actually just kill him. Whereas if they take down the Razor while the Lifestealer's like just chomping at everyone, that could still be a CDC.Y favorite fight.
Yeah. And it felt like Bane, his job that fight was catch and instantly react to the Blink Lasso. Get the grip onto the Bat-Rider. The Aether Lens gives you that extra bit of cast range and just lock the Bat-Rider in place. And he managed to do so that last fight, so possibly looking to do something similar again. Lurking nearby is CDC. They're going to send a Razor Illusion forward. Trying to get themselves some vision perhaps, and those late game illusion runes coming into play here. Inflame then sends up his real hero here. I believe they know which is the real one at this stage, but what's going to be the answer to this one? Ember Spirit going to slide a fist forward. Inflame just trying to clear out the creep waves here. He's got no age. He's going to be very careful. There's the lasso. Can they get the grip up? He doesn't get it. He was mid-cast animation, it looked like, when he went for that one. They pull the Razor in deep. He's going to go down. Can the Lifestealer clean up now? The grip comes out onto 11. He's going to go, sorry, onto Kaka. 11 going to go down to the Lifestealer, it looks like, but no, Lifestealer falls first. They've lost Lifesteal and he hasn't even got a buyback. This fight could not have gone worse for CDEC. An Old Chicken, he's on the chase, seeing what he can find. Ooh, did he see him? He misses the sleight of fist. The Rocket Flare will give him the vision though, and no TP.
No TP.
Here's Old 11. He says, let me give you the vision you need. I'll TP in and do what's needed.
If the Lifestealer and Pack got the jump, like at the same time as Razor got caught, Lifestealer might take out some heroes, but the problem is he essentially went in like as Razor was about to die, and so the Razor being focused didn't really buy him time, and while Lifestealer's trying to make a kill there, just turn around and attack the Lifestealer.
It just felt incredibly high risk because they're like relying on either the Bane to get a grip or the Puck to get a coil on the Bat-Rider instantly to prevent the like double 4-star backwards. Old 11, speaking of getting a fast initiation, looking for the Puck there, won't find it.
Well, we said it could take one fight, and even though, I mean, this fight hasn't like switched around the gold lead, I mean, it's dropped it a lot. And it feels to me a bit like it shifts the dynamic. It feels to me like after that fight's happened, that's like slightly closer to each next item for each hero. I mean, Ember Spirit probably finished something before the next fight. And Rush is going to respawn soon, and this might not be a guaranteed Radiant Rush that we've seen for most of the game so far.
I think this is the first time we have to look at the game and kind of reconsider where things stand as far as the carries go, because Ember and Gyrocopter are more or less on par with the Lifestealer Razor now. This is no longer a case of CDEC Youth having the fast, superior, and stronger carry heroes anymore.
Yeah, Ember Spirit now finishes the Manta Star, which means that the Puck Silence is going to be nothing compared to what it... I mean, that's done a lot of work in all the times they've killed the hero this game. And I just do wonder, I think if EHOME get the rush for themselves, like then they're in a commanding position.
Here we go, Batrider looking for a lasso. Can he catch someone? It's going to be AIM. There's no grip in time. He gets the Nightmare off. It looks like Old 11 and BKB. AIM being focused down. He's trying to lifesteal his way out of this one. Who's he got? He's going to get trapped in the cogs. Kaka, he's already used the Ghost Scepter, and AIM going to just lifesteal his way back up. They've managed to control the EHOME side for now, but back comes in Gyrocopter. He's going to break the Lifestealer, and that's going to be one kill. No buyback available. The second kill onto the AA. Old Chicken's chasing with the Searing Chains for Demons. Looks like we're going to break him as well. Lan M, Ghost Sceptered up, trying to fight into Inflame. Have they got the control to deal with the Razor here? He's got a TP scroll still. Inflame may just be kind of trapped by himself here. He knows there's no Gyrocopter, and it looks like he feels confident enough to fight into the Ember Spirit and Batrider, that he will be left alone. June just lurking in the vicinity in case they decide to go back in on Inflame, but it's the Razor who's just a bit too powerful at this stage of the game.
Yeah, EHOME just barely failing to kill Lifestealer in their first burst attempt, and I think the fact that they have to commit a bit deeper to kill him, that's why the fight ends up 3 for 3 and not like... It would be very favorable to EHOME if the Lifestealer went down right at the beginning.
No, absolutely. Old 11, he's got a lasso. Gets it off. He went a bit greedy there, I feel like, with that extra napalm, but he's going to make sure he... Yeah, it was going to try and make sure he gets a kill. There's no mana for a Firefly, and it looks like June may survive this one. He pops the defensive Yules, and Old 11's just got to hightail it out of here. Blink TP, perhaps. He goes for one last one last auto attack, and he will make it out before a Coil can find him.
Yeah, just not having enough damage on his own to make the kill, despite Puck being that low.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked for the rush bit, and I feel like, you know, it's been like a given this game so far that CDC Youth have just been getting the rush all the time. And I do think that as the balance starts to tip, if EHOME get that rush, they just, like, they proceed to go kill the enemy base. They'll walk through a fight, they'll probably win it, and... Whereas if CDC Youth get another rush, I mean, they probably go slightly ahead again, but, well, this is actually Clock going deep in on Razor. There's going to be some TPs in, but Razor's just trying to TP himself up.
Yep. Batrider not there in time, and also the lasso was still on cooldown. It is...
And it's an immediate ping on rush by Inflame. He's saying they might go for the rush because I've just TP'd base.
And yeah, BKB also on cooldown for 40 seconds, but not the greatest damage deal this one. But let's see if they look to go back in. CDEC.Y fairly good as far as the damage goes, and yeah, CDEC are looking to come, make sure that no shenanigans going on. They'll all scattered out, see nothing's going down, and then probably just back off a little bit. DD Rune has spawned though. It's something that the teams may need to keep an eye on with the fact that Roshan is back alive.
It's a smart move by EM to not force the issue. I mean, they don't want to give up the rush. They probably take a fight to contest, but to force the issue by going in themselves. An unnecessary risk. I feel like as the game goes later, it's better for EHOME.
Oh, they may lose some heroes here, EHOME, or at least be forced into a fight. June's fishing with the Dream Coil, going down to the south here. Can he get it? He gets lassoed before he can Dream Coil. The BKB from Old 11 with the Ghost Scepter will help keep him alive against the Lifesteal. The 4-staff out now. Puck yet to Dream Coil, goes into the phase shift. What's the play going to be? He's already lost the Bane on his side. June just going to be forced to fight. He uses a defensive Dream Coil and he still goes down. The chase is on though. Inflame's the one cleaning up. With the help of the Lifesteal, they've taken out Gyrocopter once more. And Ember, the lone surviving carry. Kaka on the Clockwork. He's actually being pinged out by the Puck. I think Puck's saying, or maybe he's just telling his team, I died over here. Nobody was helping me out. I see.
Or he maybe saw he didn't have a TP.
Oh, we did not see him. Kaka with the perfect... Oh, no, he fired the Rocket Flare. What are you doing? That Rocket Flare reveals him. He's trying to get to the shop to buy a TP. Gets the cogs off. Don't see him getting out of this one. Oh, boy. And he loses the gem as well, unfortunately. Oh, Kaka.
There was some hesitation at the start of that fight. Old Chicken was actually in the enemy base. If you see at the top lane Radiant base, the tower's taking quite a bit of damage.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that he was hoping his team could just pull away and he could get some damage, but eventually he just came into the fights, and maybe if he came a bit earlier, it goes a bit better for them.
Well, into Roche we go. You talked about CDC having control over this one. It looks like that will remain the case. been really... I feel like Gyrocopter needs to spend some of this money. He's been sitting on about 5k gold, and that's like 2 or 3 fights in a row where he just gets taken out very early on. And he just doesn't seem to have the items to hold up against the Lifestealer and the Razor, so... I feel like he definitely needs to start thinking about buying something. I don't feel like buyback is going to cut it this game. He needs to scale well into the late game. He needs to be buying some actual tier 4 items right now.
So is Old Chicken going Rapier? Because he's got a second relic. Or is that an Abyssal Blade?
On Old Chicken on the Ember, it's got to be a Rapier, I feel.
I've seen so many Rapiers recently on this hero, but yeah. I feel like that the enemy team has just killed Rush and...
It's not an Abyssal game, though.
It's so safe.
He's not able to fight in the front lanes with his items. He's too squishy, it feels. Especially against Lifesteal, I don't really feel like you can justify Abyssal on this hero.
Well, that's... I feel like the only motivation for Abyssal would be that you've got a way to lock down the Lifestealer when he's... Yeah. An extra way to lock him down, so Bat can be free to go on someone else, but... I'm not too sure. I mean, Rapier has certainly become quite common in the late game build-up on this hero, and the point I wanted to actually make earlier is that as the game goes later, it definitely favors EHOME, because each time a damage item goes up on Ember Spirit or Gyro, they're both kind of dealing AoE damage in fights, whereas Razor and Lifestealer both aren't. So, like, a new item at this stage in the game for EHOME carry is just that much more valuable.
And it just... CDEC.Y perhaps struggling a little bit. He's actually picked up a Ghost Scepter. Looks like he wants to have some ability to stay alive against the Lifestealer as well. And these Ghost Scepters, I think that's 4 of them now. Everyone except the Ember Spirit having one. Will make Lifestealer's just time having a team fight, finding kills that much more difficult. And theoretically, you can build this into an Ethereal Blade, which will give him more agility, more armor, attack speed, a bit of damage. Even the ability to use the Ethereal Blade on a teammate or offensively on the Lifestealer could come into play.
Yeah, and it's actually a decent setup for cooldown in some situations. I mean, is that slow? But yeah, I'm just interested to see if this is gonna be a Rapier, and if it is gonna be a Rapier, like when does he complete it? Is he waiting for the Aegis to run out? Were they hoping that they'd get the rush and he could take the Aegis?
It's a bit strange because like normally if you're buying a Rapier, you're not thinking about having Rapier plus buyback. Because if you die, you've just lost a Rapier, and that's often just the game right there. So. It seems... I mean, right now he has money for Rapier and buyback, but realistically, I don't know if that's much of a consideration. Like you say, the Aegis possibly expiring could be the big one for him, and he's worried about maybe getting caught out right now. I think for now he wants to be able to split push, and if he gets caught split pushing, he needs to make sure he has buyback.
I think he might be considering actually getting Rapier plus Blink, just because it like gives you that much more potential to go in and out of the fights and not risk yourself.
No, that's a good point. He actually has an item slot available with the Ring of Aquila. So perhaps, yeah, thinking about some kind of an item duo, like you mentioned, the Blink Dagger that can do that. Razor picks up a Butterfly now, and with this, I don't know if he's going to... I mean, if he sees the Butterfly, also going to be considering getting something like an MKB, and there we go. He gets the Blink Dagger now, sells it, gets the Blink Dagger, sells it. Has he seen the Butterfly? Is he thinking MKB? He's definitely... overthinking this one, it seems, or at least analyzing it very hard. CDEC now in the mid lane, Aegis still in hand for about 2 more minutes. One lane of Rax not going to be the end of the world, so EHOME just have to be careful not to take a fight to try and defend this Rax if it's going to lose in the game. Old 11, the Ghost Scepter's there, nice cogs onto 3. Have they got the follow-up damage though? Trapping these 3 heroes in place, the Tombstone there now as well. That's a Clockwork getting taken out instantly. Old Chicken gets 1 slide of fist off, but he's got no protection. And he gets taken out. That's why he wanted to have the buyback. That's why he didn't want to have the Rapier. He could see what was coming his way, and it was a nasty, nasty Fiend's Grip. The chase is now on. CDEC need to find a way out. AIM is just trying to lifesteal off creeps. They're going to get the kill onto 11. This lifestealer, as well as Razor, just doing so much damage. Razor going to buy back and look to end this game. He TPs towards the mid lane. Old Chicken will get the kill onto the puck, but mid-Rax being destroyed. AIM on the lifestealer, still with Aegis, not afraid of dying. That's why he was allowed to continue fighting, and looks like CDEC going to get at least 1 lane of Rax, possibly go for a second. Batrider has no buyback, and fighting without this Batrider is just so difficult. Yep, he's picking up the Rapier.
It's kind of like the counter argument, you know, you're saying you didn't want the Rapier, you knew you might die, but if you're going to lose the game before you spend your gold, then you might as well have bought
He got 1 slide of fist off on 3 heroes in a cogs, which did a ton of cleave damage, but right out, as soon as it ended, that's when he got gripped. And nightmared up.
I guess actually I feel like the consideration you suggested maybe MKB. I actually think it's Lincoln's. I think if he's not going to use Blink, it'll probably be Lincoln's exactly to avoid being caught out by the Abyssal Blade of the Fiend's Grip.
Chicken turns around, gets one-sided fist off, then he remnants away. 11's actually managed to find the money for a buyback somehow, perhaps just ticking over that gold buff, and he takes down the Razor. That's actually a dieback. Lifestealer, he's going down here as well, it looks like. He's got no escape for this one unless his team commits to a fight. He's locked in place, no raids for a couple of seconds, and he's gonna go down, or is he? Yes, he is. Another kill. Lifestealer has got the buyback, but Razor, 2 deaths. Have they turned this game around? The Rapier and Ember Spirit could lead the charge for them. Puck has a lot of utility to try and escape this one, and it doesn't look like Batrider will be able to chase him down and get this kill, but pings go towards the bottom creep wave. Ember now buys the Blink Dagger you mentioned, coming out on the Courier, and this could be 90 seconds where CDEC will be sweating.
Yeah, I think he kept selling the Blink because he was considering buying a Lincoln's, because he knows that there's like the Abyssal Blade plus the Fiend's Grip that can catch him out, but at this point it's like he can't afford it. This is like, the game's gonna end here possibly, so just buy the Blink up.
Bane, oh, that's a crit and a half. Old Chicken will get the, yep, there we go. He barely gets the Flame Guard kill during the Glimmer Cape. They didn't have detection from him, and Bane likely be the forced buyback as well. They start with the Lifestealer buyback. EHOME slightly back off a little, but we see some upgrades and tweaks to CTY's item build. He gets a Mantis style, a Ghost Scepter, disassembling his SMY. Not sure exactly what he's considering with all these odd bits and pieces. And now
Lifestealer like does actually have a completed Butterfly now, so no MKB could be significant.
Yep, that's 2 heroes, both carries with evasion. Luckily for this push, one of them is dead, and EHOME say, let's go for a second lane of racks. What's going to be the plan? Puck's got to hit a massive Dream Coil here, it feels like, against the BKBs. June in pretty good position to do so. He's smoked up, looking to engage. Are they going to go during this racks? It's CTY on the front lines. Bat off to the side, does have the lasso. He'd be maybe an ideal target here. The Ice Blast goes flying through. Can they get the catch? Blink silence onto 2. They blow up the Batrider to start things off. The Dream Coil catches 3. And EHOME, they're forced to fight this one, and I don't think they want to. The grip coming out onto CTY's BKB. Ember on the backline. Slider Fist gets a kill on the Bane. He should be able to get a second kill on the AA, and there's not much control to deal with this guy. CTY still alive and healthy as well. Aim on the Lifestealer has got to turn and get some kills, but the Ghost Scepter, CTY's item upgrades paying off here. Another Slider Fist not doing the damage it needs, but there we go. The Undying rocks up, and EHOME, they're winning this fight. Razor, he's the last hope. He's got a BKB. He's going to try fight his way through the Ember Spirit. Rapier on the ground. CTY says, give that one to me. Pick it up. That's a Rapier, CTY. Unfortunately, he can't actually use it since it will still be muted, but the homing missile, level 2, looks like Inflame will be brought down. 5 heroes dead. No buybacks. EHOME, can they end this game? I believe they can get 1 lane of racks in the mid lane. They can also save the Rapier of the Ember Spirit. Unfortunately, the Gyrocopter cannot use it. It's not over just yet. I don't think they can actually get the throne off of this. And it looks like they realize that as well. They're going to go for the tier 4 towers.
I think they can get Megas. Well, actually, they changed their mind. They're going
okay,
because there's no buyback.
Well, AA's back soon. You've got to watch out for that Ice Blast. Clockwork and a hookshot in as well. This is where you buy the Desolator. CTY, what are you getting, mate? Desolator it is. He picks it up. Pick it up. Desolator. Mask of Madness. They're going for the base. They're going for the buildings. They've got a BKB on him as well. CTY, got to be careful. That's a Mask of Madness Ice Blast, and he's like, oh shit, let's get the hell out of here. You do not want to die to that one. They get the tier 4s only. Do they get the melee racks? Lanham, you've got the Rapier, my friend. You've got the Rapier. You've got to be careful. He goes down. He drops the Rapier. He drops the gem, but Icy does not want to pick this one up. He gets locked into place, and the Rapier still muted. Does mean that EHOME cannot use this for the time being. The throne now under siege. AA is going to buy back. Puck back in 6 seconds. Can they do this one? On the backlines, 11 has been slept up. The AA needs another Ice Blast. 5 seconds to go. Items just scattering across the floor. Kaka goes in. He gets silenced up. He loses the Rapier. Uh-oh. Who's picking it up? They leave it on the ground for now, but Demons, he's committed to it. Maybe he should have waited for the Lifestealer to take it. He can't pass it to a teammate, unfortunately. And it is a bare throne now. Ember Spirit, 5k gold, will not get his Rapier back, but perhaps can upgrade that empty item slot to either an MKB or possibly another Rapier. I feel like he almost needs the MKB more than a Rapier, but what a game this has suddenly become.
Yeah, both the teams have their throne exposed. I will say that it's only EHOME who have their glyph, which I think is very significant if we end up seeing any kind of racing situation. Like, EHOME just win by default then.
That was something I didn't even actually realize was going on while that was all happening. The Dire throne getting as low as it did. Well,
yeah, that's part of why CTY TP'd back, and well, Actually, Inflame already there.
Inflame with the life stealer backing him up.